Yo! Good evening, everybody. Get this out of the way. This is Wine with Dave, and this is Wine, and I'm Dave. I bring the Dave, you bring the wine, or whatever drink you want to drink. Waiting for people to show up. We have nobody watching. Well, we have 5 people watching. Hey, leave a comment, okay? Just leave a comment and say, I'm from Westerly, I'm from Providence, I'm from Pawtucket, I'm from Woonsocket. Just leave that so I know you're there. I think there are 5 people watching. Got a great guest tonight, and I am looking forward to a good glass of wine with y'all. I left this comment, so you can leave a comment, and it can show up too. We are live. It's wine o'clock, and I'm going to turn that off. So again, leave a comment, leave a feeling of describing what today is, what it means to you today, because today was just roll with it for me. That was my phrase, just roll with it. Because I'm part of the team that runs the marketing camp, which is a really, really super cool 2-day conference in the middle of the woods in West Greenwich, Rhode Island. And it was a bummer. Why is type showing up on my screen? That's odd. Anyway, it was a bummer. We had to cancel it because of virus, and we're going to do it in 2021. So it's a bummer. So I just have to roll with it. So that's kind of where we go with that. Listen, we got 8 people watching. Hey, leave a comment. I don't know. Just leave a comment. Just say hello, and I will click on your comment. It'll show up on the screen. So I don't know where you're watching. I don't know where you're watching, but make sure you're looking at Wine with Dave is live now. Make sure you're looking there, leaving a comment. Okay, just leave a comment. That's really strange that no one's leaving comments. So anyway, let me just go up here and just do a quick check. Got a welcome to the wide world of comment. Where are you watching? Oh, you're looking at the wrong link. Oh boy. Nope. There you go. Now they're all coming in. Okay, you're doing the right thing. Stay right where you are. Sorry, it's live. Live is live is live. Rick Greenwood says, "Happy Monday, folks. Happy Monday, Rick. I had Friday off and it feels good." Ciao, says Sal Sacco from East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Carolyn Stanfield. Oh my gosh. A blast from the past. Welcome to Wine with Dave. Tell Terry I said hi. Great seeing you, or great seeing me. I can't see you. Tonight's wine is a buttery Chardonnay. Who else? Here's a comment for you, Justin Kerr. Here's a comment for Yar, the pirate. I'm not going to click on the emojis because you know what happened, Justin? And you'll get a kick out of this. The comments got disabled one night on Friday. And I'm like, why did that happen? Well, Friday, Facebook released an emoji called the I care emoji, the little heart going like this. And Ecamm, where I push this out, I'm getting a little geeky here. They didn't know what that was. It saw it as a foreign character, so it just shut down comments. The feed went through, but comments are shut down. So I am not going to click on your little flag in your skull. I'm afraid. I'll have to test it. So Carolyn says we'll do. Well, welcome to my show, Wine with Dave. I'm going to get on with it. Where am I? Let me turn this off. Wine with Dave. All right, sorry. Little delay. Hang in there. I'm figuring these things out. It was a funny thing. So I got to roll with it. That's my phrase. What's your phrase today? How do you feel today? Just type it in, and I'll put it on. I want to know how you're feeling. Mine was roll with it. We just had to cancel the marketing camp 2020. It's done. It'll be back in 2021, but it's just too risky. the room fits 50 people, but I'm not sure if 50 people want to be with 50 people at this point. So, and it was in mid-August, so it could happen, but Reaching Lincoln, Dave Stebbin. How's it going, my friend? Dave Stebbin, great Star Wars video, dude. Whoa, the cantina, that was pretty amazing. All right, well, we're going to get into the next segment. All right, the next segment is very, very popular among you kids. So I'm just going to go with it right now. It's called Did You Know? Let me read it from this screen because it looks a little better. Did you know? Everyone has a unique tongue print. Did you know you begin to feel thirsty when your body loses 1% water? Just 1%. Hiccups usually last 5 minutes. Did you know? The lifespan of a housefly, 10 to 25 days. Just hang around, he'll die. The smallest dog is what? That's right. Did you know is now interactive. You can leave a comment. Type in dog dash in your answer. Very simple. No one ever follows that rule. It should be very simple. Dog, and then dash, and then the answer. Because if I ask, what's the fastest animal? Someone will just type in cheetah, and I don't know if cheetah is the smallest dog. I need to know what question you're answering. No one ever does it though. But I digress. We're in the middle of another segment. Smallest dog. African elephants only have 4 teeth. Did you know? Here's another interactive. MasterCard was originally called what? Type in MasterCard, dash, and then the answer. Men are struck by lightning 7 times more than women. Terry Stanfield, don't go out in the rain. Tokyo was once known as Edo, E-D-O, Edo. And wine is sold in tinted bottles because I can't get through this. Wine is sold in tinted bottles because it spoils when exposed to light. That's a lot of S's. That's a lot of S's. MC originally called Mervin. Oh, people are leaving comments. Good, you guys are doing it the right way. Did you know that carrots contain 0% fat? Did you know plastic bottles were first used for soft drinks in what year? Type in soda dash what year? What year did they use plastic bottles in soda? That's the third interactive question. Soccer is the most followed sport. Niagara Falls could fill 4,000 bathtubs every second. Did you know? The last interactive question and answer. Your most active muscles are where on your body? Your most active muscles are where on your body? Type in muscles dash the area of your body where they're most active. All right, we're done with this segment. Let me click to the next scene, as I should. Let's see what the answers are, folks. What do we got here? Oh, snap. Yeah, that was, Justin, that was crazy when that canceled my comments. Dave Stebbin, I know. Bummer. Market camp was awesome. We will be back, though. And we have a surprise. We're thinking of doing a year-end. Well, actually, when we were going to have it, we might have a party. Kind of like an alumni party on the beach with a fire pit. So stay tuned, my friend. You're welcome to come. All right. The smallest dog, Steve Wolf says, Tiny. And he is wrong. Tiny is not even a breed. What is this, Jeopardy on SNL? Your mother, Trebek. Dog, the answer. Seriously? I said dog, dash, and then you type in your answer. Trebek. You guys are busting me. Carolyn Stanfield, dog, humming dog. Oh my gosh, you guys are like seriously stupid tonight. You're unusually stupid tonight. No offense, but that MC originally called Mervin. You guys are pranking me, right? You're doing the SNL Jeopardy prank. You're giving completely stupid, idiotic answers. Is there anyone smart? Dave Stebbin got it right. MasterCard. Yes, it was originally called MasterCharge. We have someone. Rick Greenwood, soda. When was plastic first introduced into soda? He said 1988. You're wrong. You did do it right, though. Soda, dash, and then your answer. But it's wrong. It's actually 1970. 1970. And the most active muscles are where? In your intestines. I'm going to drink a buttery Chardonnay on that one. The most I'm going to put that up again, Carolyn. That's crazy. I asked her, where is the most active muscles in your body? And she said, your intestines. Actually, it's your eyes. Your eyes have the most active muscles. And she laughs. And Mike Stedman says, I'm smart, and he spelled it wrong. Great. Well, that goes there. It's 9:12, folks. It's still wine o'clock for the next 47 minutes-ish. And let's get into the next segment. It is National Day, and I usually talk about the day that it is. There were some interesting ones, but, man, I really got to talk about today because this is really special. This is National Twilight Zone Day. Do not adjust your Facebook. Do not adjust Facebook. We're going back to 1958, where everything was black and white. Where it wasn't hot red, where we were all angry in 2020 because there was no toilet paper in Stop and Shop. No, we're years away from that. We're back in 1958. Always observed on May 11th, National Twilight Zone Day features mysterious twists and turns highlighted with eerie background music and unexplainable occurrences. Love that show. The television show Twilight Zone was created, written, and narrated by Rod Serling. It premiered on October 1st, 1959. The episodes were wildly popular, and they stretched the imagination and captivated viewers. The show aired from 1959 to 1964. That's a bummer. Only 5 years. That should have lasted 20 years. Rod Serling also created a show's spin-off called Night Gallery. And twice, there were 2 episodes, they tried to go from 16, I think it was 16 millimeter. Real grainy, kind of like this. They went from this look to videotape. And it was horrible. The quality was horrible. People complained what's going on, but by the time they found the complaints, it was 2 weeks later, and they switched it back to, the other thing, back to to the grainy look that you're seeing right now. I always wanted to do a movie in whatever they did. I Googled it once. How did they get that look? It was so rich. Okay, we're going back to the future. We're going back to the future. Here we are. Saturation's back at 0. We're not angry. No, we're not angry tonight. No, we're back there. That's right, Justin. You know the theme. So anyway, let me play you something. This is really cool. I think you're gonna like this. I think you're gonna like the way you look. This was the opening theme from the Twilight Zone. Guys, if you've never heard of the Twilight Zone, You're in the Twilight Zone. Check this out.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Oh, we're back in the Twilight Zone. Let me go back to the future. Back to the future in color. Hey, someone just said Lucian Brodeur. Brodeur. I don't know how you pronounce it. Best one is To Serve Man. No, I like Bill Mummy in the cornfield. Oh, he just sent people into the silo. That freaked me out. Carolyn says, we're going to be angry if we don't find out what the tiniest dog is. Just saying. Oh, I forgot to say. It's the Chihuahua. It's not Tiny Dog by Rick Greenwood. That's not actually Steve Wolf said that. It's the Chihuahua. Okay. You guys ready for tonight's guest? I'm pretty pumped. But I do have to say that tomorrow night I have professional development manager Bob Salvis. And if you're thinking about getting into contracting, roofing, siding, flooring, whatever, you really need to check out tomorrow night. There are many, many people that are out of work saying, you know what, forget it. I'm getting into contracting. I've always wanted to do it. I'm done with working at the bank. I'm done with working at wherever, okay? I'm not dissing banks. I'm just saying you got to tune in tomorrow night. He's got some really interesting news. Contracting and construction industry is on the rise. And then on Wednesday, I have recording artist and multi-instrumentalist and acoustic guitarist Rob Russo. But tonight, you're in for a treat. Tonight's guest is presentation skills trainer Milke Verett. Mike's in the house. Mike says that 75% of you have it, and it's the top cause of anxiety in adults. What is it? It's called public speaking. And tonight, you might just get cured.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
Thank you very much, South Carolina. How are you, Milke Verett?
I am well, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What happened? She choked, huh? They asked her a simple question.
That's an example of not being able to think on your feet and just trying to stick with whatever answer you thought you were supposed to give. So, bit of her brain was a flutter there, I think. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. My phrase is roll with it, because it's a little bummer having to put things off, but it's not about me right now, so I'm going to forget that. Does that happen when people go on stage, all of a sudden they're thinking of something bad that happens, and then they just,
Yeah, it's an amazing phenomenon. There's an actual study that says that people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of death or being struck by lightning. I mean, there is an anecdote about it that says people would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy at a funeral. So there's got to be some truth to it. The fact that people are so petrified to speak in public that's the kind of things that start rushing to their head. It's worse than death. Look, spiders are top for me. I can't handle anything beyond spiders. But public speaking is when you feel that, and you said 75% of people have it, there is an effect of fear of public speaking that people have to different degrees. Mm-hmm. And it really comes from the magic or I guess the byproduct of human nature and free will. Think of it this way, Dave. We think more about ourselves than any other thing in existence. We're the only ones who can do it. Okay. We have ego, which is a beautiful thing.
Mm.
Have you ever seen a dog go to the bathroom in the park?
Yeah.
You have a dog, I'm sure. Mine freaks me out all the time because he turns and stares at me while he's going to the bathroom. I had to look it up. It's so that he knows that I have his back when he's in his most vulnerable position. That's why he's doing it. I'm like, okay, fun
Oh,
fact.
I didn't
then.
know that. Seriously.
Yeah. Yes. Now, have you ever seen a human do that?
Well, when I saw humans defecating in the park, I try not to look. But no, I haven't seen that.
They've had a bit too much of your buttery Chardonnay, maybe.
And it is a good one tonight.
Yes. Just as humans, we would be I mean, that is something that is so far out there. And we have bathrooms and plumbing and all of this because that's not something that human beings will do. It's a level of discomfort. And it's just something that is anti everything we're about. We don't want people seeing us go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
We have this immediate knack of people judging us, and we think they're judging us all of the time. And it's never more apparent than when you're standing in front of an audience and you have to speak to that audience effectively. And the biggest problem that people run into is the what ifs. What are they going to think of me? What if I wore the wrong shirt?
Yeah.
What if I don't say something right? What if there's a question I can't answer? And they spend all this time thinking about what might happen. And the reality is, sit back and think about it. You still got me there? I glitched for a second.
Yeah, you glitched. You said the reality is,
those,
repeat that again. You just glitched.
The reality is, yes, I'm sorry. The reality is that all of those things that you're thinking about, none of them actually happen, or there's an incredibly low percentage of it. What if they do like what you have to say? What if they do like your shirt? What if they ask questions and you can answer them? Those what ifs that nobody ever thinks about come true almost all the time. The reality is what we're fearing never actually happens, but we build it up in our heads so much before we get in front of an audience, and it takes its toll. It's a difficult thing for a lot of people to get through.
That's true. Well, Dave Stebbins says, Verett! He's screaming out. And there's also a guy named, I'm going to screw it up, Matt Lusignan?
Yeah.
Archie.
Thanks.
He calls you Archie?
No, he calls my dog Archie. He's the dog I was just talking about.
That's right. That's how I met you. It's funny thing. I met you at a dog park through
There you go.
Through our dog. Isn't that cool? What was the anniversary of that?
It's like a social experiment going to the dog park. It's great.
You meet all kinds of people at the dog park. And you know what? You weren't embarrassed to poop at the dog park. I will say. You didn't look at me.
That's right.
Hey, let me ask a question. What did you do before inspiring people to speak?
I was in advertising for about 15 years. And my last advertising job was with Hasbro, which is just, it's toys. How bad could it possibly be to play with toys all the time and think of marketing campaigns for it? And my stint working for Hasbro was actually on site. So I worked on site full time as an account director with them on the boys action toy brands, which included things like Transformers and G.I. Joe. But what it really included was Comic-Con, which is an absolute cultural experience that is tough to explain. Picture 170,000 people, half of which are dressed as some character from some level of pop culture, all congregating in one place and all eating at the same restaurants, all up and down the main boulevard in the Gaslamp district.
Yeah.
And it is just pandemonium. And inside is amazing, but outside was a gift. Because I would take the clients to lunch and sit on the street and basically just people watch. And one day we were sitting there and I hear this noise. My coworker points and there's a horde of zombies coming down the middle of the street. And it turns out it's a promotion for Walking Dead. But what they were doing was attacking people on the way. And literally it looked like a zombie horde and there were arms and legs flying out. But what we came to find out, in the middle of it were 3 makeup artists who immediately made up the person they just grabbed off the street and brought them into the horde. So the horde was growing as it was going.
Oh, that's cool.
And the only thing that could have made that more odd was just after that finished, there was traffic coming through after that, and I heard music playing, and it sounded like David Hasselhoff. And I'm looking around like, what the hell's going on? Sure enough, following the zombies up the road was a double-decker bus with David Hasselhoff singing on the top. So, I mean, where the hell are you going to go and see something like that?
Where
Comic-Con.
was that? That's Comic
San
Con. What?
Diego.
San Diego. Oh, San Diego. Yeah,
Yeah.
right by the water. That is
Yes.
funny. Jason
So,
Oliver. We both know Hey, Jason, show the video falling off the stage, Mr. Presenter.
no, don't show that video.
I have it.
Yeah,
Cue the
great.
clip. No, I don't have it. Tell me about it, though. Tell me about that.
Well, after advertising, I was hired by Hasbro to join the marketing team. And I worked on Transformers for a couple of years, and that was absolutely amazing. I got to meet the voice of Optimus Prime. He even called my kids and said hi. It was so much fun.
Wow.
And
Do
I had
your
some
homework.
Exactly. And I had some years where I was doing really just product management kind of stuff, which is not my strong suit. And I was starting to get a little bit down on being at Hasbro, but I moved over to the gaming team. And this turns out that it would work out perfectly. What I was good at with the gaming team was getting people to believe in the games by experiencing the games themselves. And we would develop for our sales meetings, we'd develop oversized versions of games like Pie Face or Yahtzee. We'd have giant dice or whatever game we were promoting, and we'd have people come up and play, and they would get the exact feeling of what the consumers were going to get. And that was the true magic of it. If we could make them feel the way that the consumers felt, then we knew we had a hit with them. So I had a knack for understanding an audience and being able to sell these ideas and games, these concepts to the teams around the world. So I was sent around the world to present Hasbro Gamer and to share the games at toy fairs. I've been to Hong Kong, India, Germany, the UK, all over the world presenting for Hasbro. And the one thing that I always took away from it was that I was able to build a great connection with the audience based on how they wanted to experience that information. So whether it was a quieter crowd or a more raucous crowd or a lot of people or just a few people, but I was able to temper that delivery of the same experience, and we saw great success pitching games that way. So about 2 years ago, I left Hasbro, and it was time to look for something new. They had a big reduction, and it was sort of like having a weight lifted off of me, being away from that and figuring out what my next step was. Because the last year or two there, I wasn't happy. So I ended up one day helping my father out with a workshop program that he had started in 1996. It's Verett Associates. I went and helped him out with it, and I said, this is what I should be doing, because what I was good at Hasbro was showing people how to communicate more effectively our ideas, our games, our products, our marketing campaigns. And we immediately saw an uptick in business. And I figured if I can leverage the ability to get people comfortable in their own skin when they have to present an idea, they're going to land that idea more effectively. So I started Verett Associates in November 2018, or sort of restarted it, if you will. And it's been a hell of a ride ever since. I had an amazing year last year working with clients like ADP and Liberty Mutual and ad agencies in Boston. And now we come into year 2, and I'm in the same boat as you, buddy. I'm rolling with it, so to speak, trying to figure out what the step is. Because knowing that the economy is the way it is and things have really changed, what I do is based on working with companies and helping them to more effectively tell their stories and communicate their ideas.
So how did you find that need? How did you find that there was a need out there for that?
Well, it actually stems from a simple principle of people spending a lot of time on what they're saying and none of it on how they're saying it. Figuring if they could just share an idea in any format, whether it's email or a presentation or in person, then they've done their job. But the reality is your audience, no matter who it is just that. They're an audience, and they're waiting for information. An audience we always think of as a judgmental organism with many shades within it. And that person thinks this, and that person thinks this. And we try to read body language from that. It makes us more anxious. When in reality, an audience has 2 modes. They have on, paying attention, and they have off, not paying attention. That's it. They're not there to judge anything. They're there to receive information, and you either hold their attention or you don't. That's it. It's a binary thing.
Hmm.
And boiling that down for people is step one in the process of just understanding that, okay, you for business, you play a role. Whether you want to or not, show business is part of what you do. There's no business without show business.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is none of us are the same at work as we are when we're not at work. We feel like we're playing a role or we're doing a role. And a lot of times people will either not take that into consideration or just try to bully through the fact that, okay, if I could get through this, everything else will be fine. And they rank sharing ideas very low on that priority list. But what I find when I work with my clients and what I uncovered was if people can't sell their idea to the audience, if they can't hold their attention and sell the idea to them, they've completely missed the point of all the other work that they're doing.
Mm.
And wouldn't it be absolutely fantastic if instead of getting one idea of every 10 sold through or one sale out of every 10 sold through, what if it was 2? What if it was 3? And all you had to do was simplify the way you tell that story and simplify how you're playing your role. And that's what a lot of people miss. They feel like they have to present, and as long as I can get through this, it'll be fine because I know all my information's okay. And so a lot of people say, hello, I'm Mike, and I'm so excited to tell you about this new marketing campaign. And I'll turn to the slides and I'll start talking about what's on the slides. And I'm not at any time paying attention to my audience. All I'm doing is paying attention to, okay, if I do this, I can get through it. And I'm just in my own head.
Right.
And that does not inspire an audience and it does not sell an idea. If you were going to do that, it's easier to just send a presentation via email and they'll have the information that you practically just read to them. If you want them to buy into an idea, you need to grab their attention. You need to do 3 things with an audience. You need to connect with the audience.
Okay.
And you'll find, if you've ever watched TED Talks, Dave, you'll notice that probably 9 out of 10, maybe a higher percentage of that start with the presenter asking a question. And the presenter does that for 2 reasons. One, it engages the audience because you're asking them a direct question and they will respond to that. But if you ask a question that you know a lot of hands are going to go up, when you ask that question, say, how many people are afraid to speak to an audience? Your mind sees all the hands go up like, oh yeah, they see the heads nodding saying, oh boy, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I hate it. That puts the presenter's mind at ease. It doesn't only connect them with the audience. It also puts the presenter's mind at ease because they see a connection with the audience. And here's a simple premise to think about. The only difference between a presentation of any sort and a conversation is a connection. If you can have a connection with your audience, you feel more like it's not me versus them. Your brain allows it to be, okay, we have a connection and we can just talk. Mm-hmm. And nobody has a hard time trying to pick what they want to say if they're just having a conversation. They're very clear. They're not nervous. But the second you can get them over that hump of presentation, that connection piece, that takes it from presentation to just a conversation. It actually loosens people up. And it's a simple premise. And the next thing I uncovered was, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Go, do the third thing because I have a question on that.
Well, the next thing I uncovered is everybody who's trying to play a role is immediately thinking they need to act a certain way or do something when they're in front of an audience. And actually, you had introduced me as a presentation skills trainer. I connect that with people who do more damage than good in a lot of ways. And I'll tell you why. A presentation, if anybody watching has ever taken a presentation skills course or saw a speaker come in and talk about it, I'm guaranteeing the things you hear are get over yourself or talk to someone you like or the God forbid think of the audience naked, which is batshit crazy because I can't imagine what if the audience is thinking of me naked and it gets all sort of out of control.
Yeah, bring a glass of water with you. Make sure
exactly.
You do this. A list of things.
Yes. So now, if you've ever swung a golf club or you've swung a tennis racket, there are 25 things, 30 things that go into hitting a good golf shot. But your brain cannot possibly process all 30 things at once, go through a checklist, and still make contact with the ball. Uh-huh. You're loading your brain with things to think about other than the task at hand. That's why people have what's called a swing thought, or a list of 1, 2, 3 things, where maybe it's balance, head down, follow through. You don't tell, okay, put your hands like this on the club. Your brain just does it because you're giving it the foundation for what to do. And that is very similar. If you have to be doing something like presenting to an audience is so daunting. And if you have to do something like that, the last thing you want to do is think of 15 or 16 other things that somebody came in and said, oh, do this and it'll make you a better presenter.
That will screw you up.
It'll screw you up. There's 2 simple things, 2 weapons that you have at your disposal at any given time when you're presenting to an audience. The first is your personality, and that's a constant. It never changes. You are who you are. That has been widely accepted by friends and family for a long time. I have a hard time believing that nobody likes you or me so much that, that's just how we're thinking about. Like, we always have good relationships built on our personalities. We have work habits built on our personalities. So why would anyone ever try to shift out of who they are naturally to try and perform or act in a different way in front of an audience? A great example of this is Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory. Jim Parsons is exactly who he is on that show. You see him on he's on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, rubbing his hands. They're all red because he's got OCD and he washes them a lot. And he is Sheldon. Yeah. And he's been cast in other things, like Microsoft Surface used him in an ad campaign.
Right.
And his ad campaign he was him. That's who they wanted, was Jim Parsons. Could you imagine what Jim Parsons would have to go through, the turmoil he would put himself through, if somebody decided to cast him as the next villain in The Fast and Furious or alongside The Rock in a movie? That's not who he is. It would be so exhausting and not believable if he tried to become that. Right. Sheldon is Jim Parsons. Jim Parsons is Sheldon. That's why it works. If you go up in front of an audience and try to act a way you don't, or try to be something you're not, it is going to make you feel uncomfortable, and it's just not going to feel right. It just adds to the problem.
Well, that brings up a question, but people might say, but I don't like who I am. I'm not that guy on stage that's like gives an eloquent speech. It really comes down to that, right? Do you help people with self-awareness and self-confidence? Do you get right down into the nitty-gritty?
100%. 100%. And it's different for everyone. Everybody's got their personality and they can't control that. But what they can control, and this is something I learned from my father a long time ago. He used to, every time I got in a jam, he would send me the exact same thing. And I now have it framed on my wall, but it's about attitude. And the premise of it is life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to that. And we have 100% control over how we react to those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we have control over. We don't have control over if a light goes out or if somebody's cell phone rings. We don't have control over if the slides stop working. We don't have control over if we misspeak. But we do have control over how we react to that. And that's what people need to embrace. They can be themselves and who they are and project their attitude the way they want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like when I first talked to you, when I first met you, it was about a year ago. It might have been around May or June. No, it was just actually, it was after marketing camp. I had just told you we went to that. We did it.
Yes, that's right.
So it must have been October. Wow, I feel like I've known you for 2 years. I've only known you less than a year. But you said something about how people feel comfortable talking to one other person. No problem.
Yep.
If another person comes in, it's 3 of you. You still feel comfortable talking to your friend and your friend's friend. 3 people, it's still okay. Why is that? It's just a number thing. So you're speaking to 1,000 people or 1 or 2 people. It's just a number. And I loved what you said about that. Can you elaborate on that? Where people all of a sudden the light goes off like, oh my gosh, I'm speaking to thousands of people. Is that where the insecurity comes in? Is there a number for certain people? Like, is it 10 people or more and they get all insecure? Is it 5?
I don't think it has anything to do with the number. I went through the same stuff. And it didn't matter if I was presenting to 2 people, maybe my boss and his boss, for instance, or I was presenting to a full presentation auditorium. I would have the same feelings. All of the what ifs would sort of boil up. But the reason people can feel comfortable in a conversation is because they already feel like, okay, you went to that school, so did I. Look, do you know this person? Do you know that person? That's us looking for a connection with the person we're talking to.
Yeah,
That's
but
why we
with
play
like,
the "Do you know this person" game, because we're
so
looking for a way to connect with the people we're talking to.
so Bill Palmentier just said great stuff. So this reminds me, like if I'm talking to Bill and I feel completely comfortable because it's not all about me. I'm talking, he responds, and he's like, yeah, well, I did that too. And then I'm talking, so there's a response back and forth. Do you think that's what freaks people out? That when you're on stage, there is no response? It's you talking the entire time?
Well, I would argue that that happens more often. It doesn't matter if you're the one doing the talking. It doesn't matter what the focus is. What it comes down to is if people when that light comes on, so to speak, and we can talk about Zoom. I mean, that's really or video conferencing is really what everybody's going back to after this pandemic.
And I want to talk to you about that.
Once it's like talking backstage to someone and you're perfectly fine, and then the light comes on of the camera or the audience is sitting there, and all of a sudden you get stage fright. And it just has to do with more the focus feels like it's 100% on you.
Okay.
And if there's 1,000 people, that assuming everybody has two eyes, could be pirates, 2,000 eyes staring at you, all of that is hyper focused on you.
A room full of Justin
mind.
Kerrs is like half a room.
Yes, exactly.
One eye, yeah, one eye.
But it really has to do with the everyone's looking at me. That's what sets it off. So it doesn't have to do with how many people. It has to do with it's me versus them. It's me in front of an audience, and they're waiting on me to communicate this idea, and it's all on me. And oh my God, and you start to spiral out of control.
Okay, so we're in a Zoom world. Explain that.
Yep.
How does the new Zoom meeting platform change how we share our ideas?
Well, first of all, I'd say the video conference platform has changed whether we're even wearing pants or not. I am, but it's changing a lot, right? You're not.
Hey, if you have a question, by the way, let me cut you off. If you have a question, type it in. We'll put it on screen. Mike will answer it. Okay, continue.
It's not about my pants. It's changing the way that doctors meet with patients. It's changing the way that business is done. I mean, there are businesses around the world that are still running with people working from home, and they're all connecting over video and audio instead of in person, which is fantastic. But I'm going to use an example. This is my favorite example: the 5-year-olds that are on a reading rug at the library. Mm-hmm. And if you come in, your job is to keep them engaged and turn the book around and show them, oh, look, the cow jumping over the moon and the dish running away with the spoon. And you're trying to keep the attention of these 5-year-olds. Now, if the 5-year-olds are watching you as a TV program and they figure they could just do other things while it's on, think about trying to keep their attention then. If they all have something else to look at, or they're all watching you on a video and they get distracted and they look at something, everyone is distracted when they're on video. That's the audience is always distracted. That's from one side. From the other side, you're talking about a whole new experience where there are slides up, perhaps, if you're sharing your screen, but they can't see you. So you revert back to just sort of going through the motions and saying, okay, so on slide 6, you'll see this and that, because you feel like you're not present. And a great example of this, my father and I just talked about this 2 days ago. A great example of this is the late night shows and how the hosts have had to adapt to this new world where they 100% feed off of human interaction, audience interaction to what they say.
Yeah.
And you see what happens to them when they don't have that. And now you have Stephen Colbert or Seth Meyers or Jimmy Fallon trying to figure out how to still deliver an engaging program while missing the number one catalyst for what makes them do what they do and how the jokes land. That audience isn't there anymore.
Do you see that? Are you watching this and seeing like there's something off?
100%. And every single late night host acknowledged it the first week of this too. Like, this is so weird. Jimmy Fallon talked about it, and then he started shifting to getting his family involved or playing music, things that are going to be a little bit more, short form content engaging. But all of them have trimmed down what they're doing. And you still see with Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, they're still having a hard time with it because
Wow.
they don't have that response, and it affects their delivery. They're waiting for a response. You hear them pause after they tell a joke,
Yeah, yeah.
and
They're
they're
waiting for the
waiting because that's
feedback.
just how their minds are programmed. All of us fall into that same sort of mode when it almost feels like a conference call and you're just reading the words there. And in reality, if you don't have the people on the other side of that video conference looking at you and listening to you, you're not getting your point across. They could just be reading something. Ideally, if you are presenting to someone on Zoom, you're just going to send them enough information to make them look back at you for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Send them a slide that has one picture and then shut off the slide and go back to video. So they're only looking at you. It needs to be an interpersonal communication still. It can't be, here's a slideshow with all the words and I'm going to read a script. Because then just email it. You're wasting everybody's time.
People need to really learn from you. You're like, you can teach. So this is really a really good time that we're in this Zoom world, this post-normal world, to get ready for presenting to lots of people, right? Do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's time to get ready for people to only present over video. I think the way business is going to be phased back in, how air travel may change could necessitate more video presentations, video conferencing for meetings as opposed to in person. I think there are so many ways that business is going to change, and just over the next 6 months, I think it's obvious, but I think for the next year, there's still going to be ripples in this.
Did you say air travel? Because I don't remember that. I'm going to Miami next summer on a cow.
Oh yeah. No,
we're taking
totally.
We're taking a yak to Denver.
I don't go to visit my friend down there anymore. Well, for two reasons: one, the pandemic, and two, he has these giant spiders in his yard that scare the hell out of me. So
that's right. You don't like spiders. You know how you can overcome your fear of public speaking? Pretend everyone in the audience is a spider.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
That's like old-fashioned. Mike, it's great having you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Dave. This is a lot of fun. And,
it's kind of a dumb question. I know how to contact you, but how do we get a hold of you? Obviously, it's right there below your name, Mike at VerettandAssociates.com. Guys, shoot him an email.
Please.
At the very least, I started the show to promote people. Please do your part. Shoot him an email, a text. Well, not a text. An email. And just say, look, I watched your show. And I loved it. Thank you for doing this. And just encourage Mike. So, Mike, you're a great guy, man.
Thanks, Dave. You too. And I'm sure you get this all the time. At the Walter White thing, it really adds to the mystique of Wine with Dave.
I am the danger, Mike. I am the danger. You like that? All right, so it's coming in now. What do we get? Kathy Taylor, thank you. Good stuff. Everyone's thanking. Matt Lussignan. Thanks, Mike.
Lussignan.
What is it?
You're welcome, Sigs.
Sigs.
Lussignan.
Mr. Sigs. You're right. I want to know about Sigs. How did he get that name?
No, you don't.
I don't.
He went on like a vision quest for 2 years to the Marshall Islands, and when he came back, he was just a different animal.
Live, you're trashing your friends. I like you. Bill Palmentier, great job, Mike. Any questions? Any closing questions? I'm going late with Mike because he's fascinating to me. I love the idea of you're a human being, you have ideas, and you want to get it out, but you're deathly afraid of speaking in front of a lot of people. But that's where the magic is. If you can get your message out, that's amazing. Any questions you guys have? Put it in there. I'm going to hang on for 20 seconds. But Mike, you're so get a hold of Mike Verett, Mike at Verett and Associates, and his website is VerettandAssociates.com. Mike's, what's your phone number so people can text you and thank you for a great job?
It is 617-817-7611.
John Galt. Good job, Mike. He says, good job, Mike. And we know you don't have pants on, just shorts.
Yeah, this coming from a former prison guard.
Uh, Dave Stebbin, get clarity on the fall off stage. Oh my gosh.
All right. So I figured I'd open up our global sales meetings by dancing when I came on stage.
You gotta be real
Sort of
quick. Yeah.
like an Ellen thing, right? But not nearly as graceful. So I came up and I started twerking and doing very similar bad, like I'm not good at any of the dances. And at one point, I'm being egged on by the crowd, and I'm doing some dance move. My kneecap on my left knee dislocates, just goes to the right side of my knee, and I stumble backwards into a 4-foot circus cannon that fires whipped cream, which is that was a delight. So that was seen live by 250 people, and they all thought I was joking. They all thought it was a joke, and it was
But
also
you did
live
it with
streamed.
style.
And it was live streamed to the entire Hasbro organization, so 8,000 people. So I was getting some confused emails the next day, and we got through the rest of it. My kneecap slipped back into place. We got through the rest of the presentation. I had to take the next day off.
Kathy says, advice for college lectures? It's really the same, right?
Oh, college students are the best because you think they're kids, but they're not. They're actually interested in what you have to say.
They're thinkers.
So
they're sponges, right? They're ready to take it in.
They are, but at the same time, you need to make that connection with them. And a lot of times it has to do with just think of a question that relates to what you're about to discuss with them. But make them think about something that's very real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're going to talk for a while about the beach, then open with how many of you can picture the smell of the salt water blowing off the beach? How many of you have been to the beach? And let them think about the beach that they've gone to.
You know, that's the one thing I don't do. I don't do that. I don't open with a question. And you told me that you should do that. That is fantastic. That's the one thing that really gets people imagining in the theater of the mind. If you open with a question, all of a sudden they're thinking. You've just put 150 people in a fantasy world, and you got them on your side. I don't open with a question. I am going to do that based on what you just said. Steve Wolf says, "Great job, Mike," and he's saying, "Dave, please say 'I dare' again." So, because I'm a Rhode Islander and I have got a lot of ideas.
You spell idea with an R?
I should say idea. I don't say that. Kathy, who asked about the college, because she speaks in front of college students, awesome suggestion. Opening with question. Yes, Kathy, do that. And Kathy, email Mike at verettandassociates.com. Just say you watched the show and talk to him. He's a great guy. He can help you out. Believe me, he's got 1,000 stories. We only scratched on it. But I got to go. Got to go to the next segment. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Dave, thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.
You're the man. Give Archie a hug. Your dog.
I will, damn it.
Yeah. That was great, man. Mike's a good guy, but please, email him because I spend a solid hour preparing for the show, and it's an hour show, so it's 2 hours out of my day. But I'm doing it because not for claps and praise and all that. I'm really doing it because I'm in the community and I want to help local businesses. I really want to promote them during this downtime. And I'm sick and tired of the word downtime. During this downtime. But anyway, Bill Palmentier, 1 idea or 2 idea? Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Love your show. Thank you, Kathy. Go ahead and like the page. All right. Last segment of the show before I put you kids to bed. Because that's what I say. And are you ready for the next segment? And I think Justin Kerr just might like this segment. It's called Dave Plays with Apps. All right. Took me a long time to get a tune that would just fade at 10 seconds. It's a tough thing to do. All right, Dave Plays with Apps. Are you ready to go? The app that I'm going to play with today is an app that is part of the Video Leap Pixel Loop family. And where is it? It's Photo Fox, the purple fox. I've been avoiding turning this on for a while because, I don't know, I was waiting for the right day. This is it, okay? Photo Fox. Do you see it? Do you see that little purple guy? Download it and have fun. So you click it on, and what Photo Fox does, and can I do this? Can I unlock this? Yes, I certainly can unlock this. There we go. Let me put it over there. So you can see the full screen, okay? I can show it split screen or full screen. So what you do is you click on the plus, all right, your creations. You find a photo. You know, I'm going to go with this one. I was walking my dog in the woods and I saw this tree stump and the sun was setting. So I got on my knees. So the sun was like just cutting over the top of the stump and it looked great. But, you know, in person, Bill Parmentier, all those great photographers it would be burning orange, just like I saw it in real life. That's not burning. That is not burning orange, but it was orangey. It was really beautiful. But at least I captured it. Okay, so I want to mess with it. So PhotoFox does a few things. Filters. Click on the bottom, and now let me enlarge it so now you can see it. Okay, so there's all kinds of filters. I mean that's typical. All right, kind of boring. Blah blah blah. You know, we all know that. Instagram has it. They all have it. So we're gonna leave the filters area. All right, let me go back to this. Adjust, do we need that? Nope. Adjust is just lighting and all that stuff. We're going to go to the fun stuff. Effects. Ooh, effects. Justin Kerr, if you don't have PhotoFox, get it now. Actually, Bill Parmentier, everybody else. Glitch, watch this. Glitch. Look at that stuff. Let me blow it up. Look at that, glitch. Glitch is cool if you're trying to come out with a really funky version of a photo that you want to get on Instagram. And you know, there's a website called, I think it's called Canvas, where you can upload your photo and it'll print out on a canvas. And it's great. It's really cool. I've actually done it a few times. And you could do stuff like that. Look at that. Let me blow that thing up. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six-sided circle. These are pixelated stuff. Look at that. Look at that. That's so cool, huh? You could have this printed on a canvas, 40 by 40, really huge, behind your couch, and your wife is saying, honey, we got to do something behind the couch. It's just a blank wall. PhotoFox. That's what you do. You get PhotoFox. And then you do something like this. You know, and some of these, I'm not into this stuff. I don't know. This is just not my style. This is kind of funky. I like this. Yeah, VHS. It's a bit VHS-ish. Try to say that 3 times. VHS-ish. Okay, so let me go back here so I can show you. So I was in Glitch. Now I'm going to go to Urban. I'm going to Urban, dude. Urban. Oh. Look at that. Look at that. Look at some of these things. And you know, when you tap on it, you can adjust the frequency of it. So I pull out the contrast, so now it's really high contrast. Now it's not. So it really depends on the photo you're using. I mean, some of these things look like an early Black Sabbath album. Just saying, girlfriend. Just saying. But I love this stuff. Look at that. That's a cool little thing. Oh, yeah. Anarchy in the UK. Come on, Sex Pistols. Look at that. I mean, it would take you a couple hours to grab a bunch of graphics and lay it on top of that. But it's a quick fix. It's not going to replace the graphic designer in you, but it is kind of funky. It's kind of funky. And let me go back here because I want to show you Sketch. All right, see, I'm hitting Sketch. This is what you would expect. It just lays a layer of brushes over your photo. Not super fond of it until you get into the sepia tone. Now you're starting to talk my language. Whiskey and fire pits, right? See what I'm saying? And then light effects. This is cool, right? Oh, watch this. Check this out. I clicked on the first one. All right, now let me enlarge this. All right, I know we don't have a lot of time. So what I can do is I can move this around. I can enlarge it, and so I'm pinching it and I'm turning the light. Okay, boom! I'm turning the light. I'm moving it up right about there. All right, so I can get kind of a simulation of what I saw that day. It was more like that. Mr. Parmentier would do a way better job. Way better job. Photo Foxes, Foxy, digging it. Yeah, Dave Stebbin. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is like, I'm just pinching to squeeze it down and blow it up. Guys, get Photo Fox if you're into this stuff. There's all these little like light leaks and stuff. I don't even know what you're calling. I don't even know what I'm saying tonight. I don't even know. I mean, there's like, let me show you what I'm seeing. See all these things down here? There's like tons of them. Look at this. They should call this Iceland. It's like Northern Lights. I wouldn't do that here. That's just pretty bad. But anyway, so that's light effects. But check this out. Duo, okay? And we're at 10:01. We're going late tonight, folks. Duo takes the original photo, and whatever's in the circle is the original photo. What's outside of the circle is the duo. It's the second. All right, so you can kind of move it over here. I'm grabbing the arrow below the circle and spreading it out. It's a little high contrast. Man, there's just, you know, it's just really cool. That's a little, actually, here we go. And then you get this, you can turn that, click on the arrow and pull out the spacing of the blend. Anyway, you get the point. It's great. I'm just, you know, this is Dave Plays with Apps. Get PhotoFox. PhotoFox is part of the Envolite, I think it's called, and they put out PhotoFox, Video Leap. See that in the bottom left corner? Right over there, Video Leap and Pixel Loop. If I was on a desert island, PhotoFox, Video Leap, Pixel Loop, and Snapseed. Give me 4 apps and I'll be fine. And a coconut. Occasionally a coconut could fall from the tree. I'll crack it open and drink it. I'll be fine till they rescue me. But please give me PhotoFox. Please give me Pixel Loop and Video Leap. I'll be fine on a deserted island. So that's that. It's 10:02. We're really late tonight. All right, we're really late. Let me go to the next scene. The next scene is this. I hope you like Dave Plays with Apps. What is it? Dave Stebbin. PhotoFox is Foxy. Yeah, I already said that. I went Back to the Future. Back to the Future. Did you guys like the black and white version? I hope you liked that. That was cool. I'm really, really mad at my wife. I just wanted to say that. Greenwood says, great app, thanks. Yeah, Rick, I got apps to show you. Woo! You guys got to hold on. And a way to charge your phone. And a way to charge your phone. I do not know what that means, Courtney. You're going to have to tell me what that means. All right, so this is the end. And this is where I say a closing joke. And usually I end at 10:01. It's cool because I'm not part of a network where I have to cut to a commercial. I can go on for another half an hour if you guys would have me. But I've noticed we've dwindled in membership. I hover over my screen and it's like 14, 13, 12. Okay, so only a few people are on the list. All right, ready? We're going to end with a joke. All right? Celine Dion walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, why the long face?" phone. I get it. Good night, everybody. Bob Salvis tomorrow night. Watch it. Contracting, construction,